technical problems, but anyone that saw any of the tweets that went out earlier this week, we have very few slides, so we're going to carry on without the slides. I hope that's okay with everyone. Woo! We have slides. There we go.
Sorry, we lied. We got slides.
So welcome. This is the System Center Configuration Manager Talk, aka AMA. This is just a Q&A session. We have no presentation. If you guys don't have any questions, this is going to be a really quick session.
And with that, we'll proceed with the presentation.
But we do have a question for you first of all. Can anyone guess what the #1 question we've had after sessions, on the booth, walking between sessions? Anyone want to guess what that might be?
Hand first over there.
Is Config Manager going away? Exactly. Does Config Manager look like it's going away? We have a very large contingent from the product group here. We've shipped something like 9 production releases in the past 3 years.
In fact, I was telling my team we did something the Windows team never did is we shipped a version 9.
Hey.
we just call it 1806, and version 10 is locked and loaded almost, Mark? Yeah, he says.
And on top of that, we've had, I lose count, but I think it's coming up to 3 years worth of monthly releases, plus a little bonus one in May. So I think we're at about 30 technical preview releases. We ship SECM every
42.
single month with a whole
42.
host of features. And I've just taken a job on the team, so it better not be good.
Yeah, all the data would imply that we're slowing down.
So we want to quickly introduce everybody before we get started, and then we'll dive right into questions. Let's do intros first. So Rob and Jeffrey and Heidi and Karim and myself are all program managers on the SCCM team, and Avi as well, who's here in front. And Avi will also, during the session, be keeping an eye on Twitter with the hashtag BRK2017. If you are not in the room and you have a question, or if you just don't want to walk up to a mic and you have a question, then you can tweet it, and Avi will watch, and then some of those we will...
He's watching Twitter and Snapchat.
One more. The hashtag, once again, is hashtag BRK2017 is in the year. Just a coincidence that's our...
That's just the session code for those of you that didn't hear it.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
And then we have Mark Sylvie, who's an engineering lead on the team, who leads a team of folks who are working every day to actually do the code writing stuff, which is important. And then a man who requires no introduction.
I'm David James. I am the Director of Engineering for Configuration Manager, and now also for Desktop Analytics.
Great. And with that, I think we will... So we have 4 mics. And I would ask you, if you have a question, to queue up behind one of those mics, and we're going to
including hecklers, no heckling without a mic.
We're going to proceed in a a square fashion.
There are some rules now that you all lined up, and normally we have Aaron here to walk us through these rules, but we have good questions and we have bad questions. Bad question is, and while we do care, if you come to the mic and ask us a support case, we're not all going to spend time helping you with a support case. Come up after and talk to us. And super, we call it stump the chump, super corner case issues. Maybe this form's not the best to go in deep on those. Again, come talk to us after. Questions that are good are strategy, questions about current branch, future direction, themes in user voice. And if Aaron was here, I will channel Aaron. He'll say, we love why questions, because you don't often get those kind of answers. So, let's see. Who do we kick off on, right or
well,
left?
we just decided we're going to be fair. We're going to round robin. So we're going to go left, right, Twitter, left, right, Twitter. Okay? So maybe some guys want to go further back because it'll be quicker, but we'll kick off with left.
Hey, so we've been working on upgrading from Windows 10 1703 to 1803. And what we've found is the same thing that happened in our Windows 7 to Windows 10 migration, that if we're upgrading a VPN user, it gets to that first reboot, drops off the network, and the task sequence keeps chugging along and works great, but we obviously end up with a big pool of devices in progress because those status codes can't make it back to a management point because they're no longer on our network and we don't have an internet management gateway. So just kind of wanted to see, my user expectation or IT expectation would be that machine comes back online, it can communicate with the management point again and update the status in the console. And I just kind of wanted to see, is it working as you guys intend it today? Is the correct answer just to say, get a cloud management gateway or an internet management gateway?
So I think the reason behind that is that SCCM was created in a world where internet facing wasn't really something that needed to be managed. Cloud Management Gateway achieves that really well today. It's a lot better than internet-based client management. But we're seeing more and more customers trying to update clients that exist out in the wild. In 1802, we added a task sequence variable that you can set at the beginning of your task sequence that basically says, hey, if you fail to send a status message, don't bother retrying. So we had feedback from customers that it was adding hours to their build. So you set that variable, we'll still try to send the first status message, but if we fail and you've set that variable, we'll just not bother trying to send the rest. So the trade-off is that you lose that status coming back up.
You lose it real time. It'll come up later.
No, we don't try and resend.
That's actually my question. And I just want to tack on one more point that's actually the reason why we don't touch phase deployments at all. Is because our success rate never grows to a high enough rate because everything's stuck and in progress.
Interesting.
You will get the success at the end once it comes back on, but you'll have lost the detail in between.
Okay. Actually, I guess we don't see that in our environment, so I'll open a case and we'll dig into that then. Thanks.
Great. Right.
All right. My question's about pivot and scripting. So great new features that allows you to get the current online computers. But from an admin's perspective, I don't want to redo the same task to hit all the offline computers afterwards. So what I'm asking is, will in the future be any way of what you get of a collection from Pivot, be able to make that into a collection query that will automatically update, and what you then execute on those computers from scripts, will you be able to make that into an automated package or CI to deploy to that same collection?
So great news. So first of all, who's seen CM Pivot? Who's used it? Okay. So a couple things. When you get to CM Pivot, you can create a collection. Right now, it lets you create a static collection. That's going to be a static set of machines that had that. However, we will let you, at the end of that, create a dynamic collection. We haven't shipped that yet, but that way, when you get the querying that you want, you can now go create a collection. Then, over time, you can see machines popping in and out. So that's one thing. The other thing is, while in 1806 we query against machines that are online, what we've added in 1809 Tech Preview is for machines that aren't online, it will go to the database and get the most recent information we know about that client to give you a full data set of a combination of machines online and offline. So those are the two things we're doing to help with offline.
How about making the script into a package or a CI so I can hit the ones when they come online again?
So that's currently on our backlog. That's not something yet that we've invested in. But as we mentioned, we're working to make it better for when you're done with all the online, that whatever's left over, you can kind of switch over to that and finish those off later when they come online.
All right,
Thank you.
It's a Dune question. So the question is, are there plans? This is from Megs of Ram on Twitter.
Is Meg's in the room? Okay, that's good, because she
Hi.
tweeted me this morning to say that she didn't come to my session.
You notice how she preempted the lines by going straight to Twitter.
I think once people get the order of where we're going to, they'll start switching.
Work smart, not harder. That's
So
the
the
phrase.
question is, are there plans to have desktop analytics solution for on-prem SCCM? If not, why? What data is collected by the cloud services that isn't in the configuration manager database? So great question. So one thing I want to clarify there is, so given that all SCCM servers are on-prem, well, except those that are hosted in IaaS in Azure, the question I think is more around offline. So offline site, meaning that there's no internet connectivity there, or very limited connectivity perhaps in the network or on the site. So no, there's not a plan to do that right now. The reason being that desktop analytics is built on kind of the diagnostic data that comes right from Windows, and there's a bunch of stuff in there that when you have a look at the data that's in there, it's quite different from what you get from software inventory and hardware inventory and that kind of thing. Some of the same data points are reported across both, but a lot of the crash data and stuff that we just don't have in the database will make its way into desktop analytics, and we don't have the same level of granularity or the same machine learning algorithms and things that we have in the cloud to grok that data either. So there's a lot of data processing that has to go into things like the pilot recommendation, for example, that we benefit a lot from being a flexible, scalable cloud service rather than being a part of the site code. So yes, it works for on-prem SCCM sites in that if your SCCM site is connected to the internet, we'll have tight integration with all your SCCM stuff for desktop analytics. If your devices are offline, then you're out of luck for now, but come talk to me if you think that's important, and we'll figure out a way to do it, we hope. Fingers crossed.
And while Dune says, no, not yet, I would caveat it and say, the future of the world is data and data-driven, and the future of IT is going to be AI-driven, right? So what we can see in ConfigMan in telemetry is 70,000 customers with a lot of big databases that combined together is ecobytes of data that we can make better decisions on. Some of that data you'll never want to send to Microsoft. So what we will get better at doing is learning on the data that we do have and sending the AI algorithms down to on-prem to operate on your own data sets to help you learn from. Now, that's not just a desktop analytics statement. That's a statement of the future IT will be us using intelligent cloud to drive intelligent edge to help you make better decisions, make proactive decisions, and just let the data that you have, that's your data, help you do your job better. Does that make sense? So let me caveat Dune's answer and say, not on our immediate roadmap, but we want to make all of your data work for you, right? Definitely. So eventually, yes.
And there's definitely a lot of thinking and value that we can draw out of the data that's already in the database that we haven't necessarily touched yet. We're definitely thinking about that.
Thanks, Twitter.
Orange shirt.
Is there a combination of configurations or plan for a combination of configurations that would allow me to choose which deployments could make use of the Cloud Management Gateway so that I could make Cloud Management Gateway, which will have egress costs, work for Set 5 vulnerabilities or WIMs, or for PCB that I'll know will never be in the network, but just a laptop that happened to go home, not download that and cost me?
CMG, that's me. I'm just thinking.
Confirmed Rob question.
Yes.
I've been told I need to think before I speak, so the scenario is you're worried. So first of all, I think the question is based on you're worried about the price of data egress. I've yet to see a customer's worry of costs of data egress for Cloud Management Gateway and Cloud Distribution Point actually transpire into genuine reason for that worry. Most organizations that I speak to, and I was chatting to someone yesterday, and the conversation concluded in the same way. We've spent more money discussing it in these 5 minutes than we probably would in the next month using the content. Content in Azure is relatively cheap. Relatively is a relative term, but
it is the most relative term.
Obviously. So I understand how customers are worried, and yet that there are ways that you can prevent it. If there's devices that you don't want to use CMG at all, you can disable that in the client policy. The other simple way as well is to just not put the content types out there. So if you don't want images to be downloaded, don't put them on there. Software updates, we recently opened it up so that software updates can be placed on a cloud distribution point. But even if you place a Windows update on a cloud distribution point, we'll always try WUA first as long as the deployment allows it. So we were already making those decisions to try and reduce the cost that you might incur for those traffic types. Are there other scenarios that we're missing that you can see?
No, it was actually you and I who talked about the cost. I went home and did the numbers, and I basically figured out if I deployed my 7 to 10 upgrade over CMG.
Is that Will?
It's a 5.
It is Will.
It is Will.
It's a 5 gig WIM times.
I feel like Will asked me this question 5 times already this week.
I get an answer?
Sorry, I was too busy having conversation with DJam. Say that again.
If it ends up being a 5 gig WIM times 20,000 machines, that ends up being $12,000 at 19 cents a gig. So if I just went to my boss and said, hey, I need $12,000 the next month, it was unplanned, they're going to say, well, why didn't those people just take it?
We think about it a couple ways. So let me answer Will's question a little bit with last question's answer, which is, do we aspire to use the data that you already have to be more predictive in what your future costs will be? Yes. And to help you more intelligently configure to optimize that usage to get you lower cost? Yes. And to build a feature so that you don't have bill shock by being able to maximize your total Azure spend every month and change behavior if you start getting close to it. Yes. We're going to do all those things.
And if there's specific ways that we can make that easier, configurationmanager.uservoice.com.
And we can talk more tonight.
Yeah. And I think I said left, right. So, gentleman in the corner.
Okay, 2 quick questions. First, this one I had a case on, but I was curious. It has to do with task sequences. Cloud Management Gateway is in pilot right now, not prod. So we get systems that go run an in-place upgrade, right? We have a deadline on the upgrade or something. They boot their computer up offline. They're not connected to the network yet. Deadline kicks in, task sequence kicks off as soon as the services start up and it sees it needs to execute. We get a failed to get MP name in the TS service log. And it basically just hangs in the background, times out eventually, and then shows up that it failed back on our reporting data. So we've come up with ways, like we trick the client right now into thinking it's an internet-based client, and then we put in localhost as the management point, and then it's like, okay, I'm happy, I'll continue. But don't know if that's intended. We've brought this up in cases, I don't know if they've touched your desk, but
A lot of the pre-caching scenarios rely on a good lead time between it becoming available and the deadline eventually kicking in. So that's one way you can deal with that. We also have the pre-caching capabilities for the required deployment, so it makes sure that the content is down. I wasn't quite sure. Is that in that scenario? Do your clients have access to the Cloud Management Gateway?
no, we don't have that in prod yet. So they're totally reliant on the intranet. So these systems have all the content cached. We've done 2 task sequence approach. So we pre-cache everything, run a compat scan, they're ready to go. They've continually postponed the task sequence and not running the upgrade. Then they boot up at home. They don't have connectivity to the internal network or whatever. And it just failed to get MP name. But in our testing, when we trick it, it's almost like it doesn't really do anything when it does have an MP in the field, because we can put local hosts and that works. So it's like, why is it even checking for an MP to start the task sequence? Why can't it just...
Okay, so in that scenario, the content is actually already there.
Yeah, everything's there, ready to go.
Okay, that's good feedback. I think that's something we should...
And task sequences think they need MPs, right? That's a safety check because it's going to send status, it's going to look up policy. So the task sequence is afraid to go. Task sequences have fear, yes. Task sequences are afraid to go
Here's a good thing.
into the unknown of WinPE if they don't think they can come back. So it's a safety check.
Okay. So maybe, I don't know, task sequence variable to say, do not do this safety check.
Yes, that's what we like doing is removing the safety from the product.
Well, in deadline approaches, it causes a lot of false positives. I get it.
I get the pain, but Cloud
So,
Management Gateway solves it in
Put a user voice in.
safer manner.
Second, really quick, client.
Oh, I see. He's going for 2 questions.
I'm going to try and sneak. Maybe it helps everybody, right? You guys might like this. CCM eval and client health. Like CCM eval doesn't seem like it's seen a lot of traction. Next week, I'm getting the opportunity to put the config manager client health offering for Microsoft in place at my place.
Good offering. I used to work on that when I was in PFE.
It looks very promising, but it's almost, I get a lot of questions from my managers like, why is this not included with the product? Why am I paying so many thousands of extra dollars to just monitor the client? Why is it decoupled and cost more? And if there's anything CCM eval might be able to address.
No, if there's
Before I let Dave answer, I'm going to. There's a couple of points. Regardless of what is doing the client health check, it needs to be outside of Config Manager. It's inherent to health issues. If there's health problems, it needs to be external. CCM eval solves some of that. So yeah, maybe there's more that could be done. But the other thing about client health is it's often really, really environmentally specific. And the benefit of that particular offering is that it's based on thousands of customers' feedback, and it checks for anything that any customer has ever seen that was a problem. Whereas in the product, we can't account for everything. That offering kind of circumnavigates that particular problem.
Definitely, we don't expect all customers to need that offering. We expect it to be few and far between. If there's rules that are obvious that many customers will need, we won't hesitate to put them in the product.
Like provisioning mode?
So provisioning mode is...
Wait, is that a third question you just slipped in?
I'm going to sit down now.
I'm going to allow that under the
You
segment.
better go to Twitter.
So the provisioning mode one is also an interesting one in the same chicken and egg scenario, because provisioning mode inherently means that the client is not running, so having some kind of check within the client to do it. And we have talked about maybe adding it to CCM eval, but again, there's environmentally specific requirements. What one customer wants to have as the health check might not be necessarily applicable to another customer.
We did have some bugs in 1710 around orphaning clients in provisioning mode. We have now put a safety in the client that if it thinks it's been in
Wants you to
provisioning
remove
mode
the
too
safeties.
long, it will pull itself out. What's that?
He wants you to remove the safeties, though. So
No.
Thanks, guys.
We'll put in a new switch into a setup actually called the enter the danger zone. Removes all safeties.
All right, so Twitter question on CM Pivot. When will this be web capable so that it's not for only people who have a console open?
Yeah, it's going to be less about it being web capable. It's going to be more about being able to run it standalone from the console, so that you can really the next step of improvement for CM Pivot is designing it for the persona of who's going to use it and giving it the right RBAC controls, so that if you're in a bigger company that separates management out from security, you can give a slice of that functionality to security people, and you can sandbox them in what you allow them to do, what they're allowed to scan against, what they're allowed to automatically mitigate, and there will be a flow that if they want to mitigate against a larger set of machines and you want to automatically allow that, it will come into the config man console and you can approve that mitigation. So I assume the question is less about web-based. It's more about give me a UI that can be for security people that I don't want in the console. And yes, that's on our short-term radar.
And just to bounce on that, any plans to embed with analytics or Power BI?
Now Twitter's going to 2 questions. This is how we feature creep.
do we need to add a new rule? One question.
Okay, go ahead, Rob. I didn't even listen to the question.
Any
Analytics or Power BI with
Analytics or Power BI?
analytics, Power BI with integrations.
I'm really interested in what they mean by analytics. I don't know if
We have a question about your
clarifying-
question. You might have to step to the mic. We'll come back to it.
Yep. Maybe you ask them a clarifying question about that one.
So we have a pretty large deployment, and since we implemented, starting Config-Man 2012, trying to push the user-centric management story in preparation for modern management. Problem we have is that we have very decentralized IT, so there's a lot of different people that are authoring content and deploying said content. And right now, we basically use boundary groups as an access control layer, so they author content, distribute to their DPs, support only their networks. But for shared networks, especially wireless, where less and less endpoints ever touch the wire, we can no longer force from an administrative level that content that targets users only touch certain groups of endpoints that are delegated to the author. Is there any story to address
I mean, here's the leap of faith that you're going to have to take, and this is what we had to go through when we went through from SCCM 2007 to 2012, is network locality and boundaries cannot be a security boundary. Right? That's just the way it is. You want content, you want your clients to be managed irrespective of where they exist. You just want to be able to set through RBAC what the administrative scopes are, and you need to trust that the back end, that content and policy just flows everywhere, but you can control who can create it and who can target to what through RBAC. And I think that's the way it has to be. Like Config-Man will never.
Well, we use RBAC, but if you say have a security or a collection, user collection with security groups in it, I can't control what they place in those security groups. I can only control that they can target the security group, because I use RBAC to delegate the members.
That's right. Well, you can control. I mean, you have ways of controlling what they can put in those security groups.
I'm not the AD admin, so.
Then maybe you move your targeting outside of AD, right? I mean, there somewhere someone controls what goes into that group, and if you need to control it, then you need to take control of what goes in that group.
Yeah, it's just that departments own the devices; they don't own the users.
Do you want a collection that is based on boundary groups?
Well, I think that, yeah, unfortunately, I think the easiest thing that we would be able to implement in the current RBAC schema would be if user deployment policy was, you could limit it to device collections. So the default behavior, so like say like you added it as a new feature, the default would be just all systems, right? The behavior is exactly the same. But through RBAC, if a user authors policy, they would only be able to see the collections that they're scoped to see. And so it would default to one of those, or they could only choose among those.
I think that's how it works.
No, so when you author content or you author a deployment, the policy of the deployment has the security scopes of the author, right? But that is not true of the target, right?
Okay. I think this is a longer conversation. Come up after, let's talk.
Hi. So my question is about hardware patching. So thanks to Spectre Meltdown and a lot of people looking at the lower level, we've had a lot of hardware patching, which is kind of new to us. We haven't had to do BIOS patching and TPM patching and AMT patching at the frequency that we have been. And we have a lot of products from a lot of vendors. Has Microsoft...
Would you like ConfigMan to patch BIOS and firmware?
Yeah. Yes. You kind of stole my question from me.
You didn't even say you were
Guess we
going
better
to
do it
You
then.
just asked if they wanted you to do it.
You're not going to say no when you ask them like that.
It's something we're working on, not just firmware and BIOS, but drivers overall need an overhaul in ConfigMan positively, right? Like drivers in the product are unnecessarily segregated. You can have the driver packages, driver catalog, but that only works for task sequences. It doesn't work for updates, and then you can do update management on drivers, but we don't pull drivers down from Woo. We just put drivers in for Surface. Yeah, that was us trying to be visionary about how we think it should go, and we haven't been able to keep up with our Surface drivers from our own company. So drivers is high on our roadmap to make design progress on, so that we can redo the way drivers and firmware and BIOS work, and so that we can give you what you need to patch it.
Since you kind of usurped my question, the last half.
New rule: if you get your question usurped, you get a second.
Sounds like a fair rule.
This is kind of a part of it. Some of the hardware vendors are better at this than others, but they don't all put version information in WMI or anywhere where you can access it from the operating system. And it would be nice if Microsoft, in addition to us from the other side, reach out to the OEMs and say, hey, it's possible to put version info in there so that I can tell whether or not a machine is vulnerable. Right now, like Intel releases detection tools that you have to run before you can remediate. And
yep, got it. I mean, he just asked to re-architect the way drivers work in Windows and to get the OEMs all to lock to it. So yeah, we're going to do that.
So the next question from Twitter, there's two from Chris. Hey, Chris. And I'm going to cherry pick because the second one is one that suits my own interests. So, hey, Karim, any plans to make boundaries so they prefer updates from MS updates over DPs for split tunnel users? That one sound familiar?
Well, he reads that.
Yes.
What about CMG traffic, Karim?
All right, another quick question. Why is CM Pivot not usable from the CAS?
It's complicated.
Here's why. With the speed at which ConfigMan ships, we oftentimes are faced with the decision of ship it with less functionality and add it later, or wait till we're done and ship it when we're done. Who would like us to ship fast even though we're not done? Who would like us to wait until we're all the way done, for example, re-architecting drivers and getting OEMs on board before we ship improvements? So we wanted to get CM Pivot out. We wanted to get feedback. We wanted to get you to help us understand what direction to take it, and that meant ship it before hierarchy support was there. But it will have hierarchy support, just not yet. One person's happy with that. Thank you.
Okay. Next question.
Thanks. So my org runs a lot of automated jobs through Config Manager, maybe started with a ticket from Tier 1 or that sort of thing. We leverage the PowerShell module a lot for that. And I'm wondering if there's ever a chance that that will be sort of decoupled from the bits for the Config Manager console. We get around it with PowerShell remoting, that sort of thing, but it's a bit clunky to have the console installed on a machine where we also want to run the PowerShell module at the same time.
Yeah, there's a chance that that might happen a long time from now. It's super coupled right now. It would be very difficult to decouple the PowerShell from the console.
Fair enough. Thank you.
Let's just say we are very ambitious with what we want to do with the console. Some of you may have seen in some of our tech previews that we have a new API, Mark, that's REST-based.
Yes.
It's REST-based. And over time, we aspire that means our console goes over REST instead of talking to a WMI provider. It's time for us to outgrow the WMI provider.
And let me chime in on that. That feature, we're referring to it as the admin service. It is enabled in 16.10 on the provider. And there's also a new property sheet for the SMS provider now, which was never listed as a site role. So you can go in, launch the property sheet, enable CMG, so then you can access basically an OData library or an OData model over HTTP or HTTPS if you're going through CMG, and have full access to all the classes in our SDK.
Right. So when you understand that's our strategic direction, hopefully you understand why we haven't yet decoupled the provider from the console, because we want to understand how it fits into our new strategy for our API set. And should our PowerShell command lists be rewritten to go to REST instead of what they go now, or WMI. So we understand the need for more portability in our PowerShell scripts. Not just more portability, but more agility in shipping them and improving them. And we are even considering taking a lot of our PowerShell content and open sourcing them into what we call the community hub. So yeah, we understand we need to make them more portable. We're going to do it with our future technologies in mind, not just our old technologies, if that makes sense.
Makes perfect sense. Thank you very much.
And one more thing I'll add in what Mark's team's doing is the new API that we're building gives us some pretty amazing things, like we can now run the admin UI over CMG on the internet with MFA. So hopefully the MFA made it less scary than the first part. But yeah, it's a lot of times we're looking at what we need to do that unlocks a lot of scenarios, and that's why we're putting a long play here on our admin UI.
Back right.
My question is just about server groups and when they'll be done, maybe.
Wait, where's Nash? Nash isn't here, right? Or Sandy's? Those guys aren't here, right? They didn't plant you. Who would like a feature that orchestrates patches across multiple machines? Who's tried to use service groups and it falls short? Okay, so not 100%. See. We definitely are going to fix server groups. We had to take a sabbatical from working on it to get Windows 10 patching working. So the people that really knew patching on my team had to pause server groups and just keep the lights on by being able to continue to patch Windows as that technology evolved. We are literally coding server groups now. What it's going to end up looking like is, I do not like the UI experience that's there for server groups because it's scattered all over. You have to know that there stands on collections, and you got to go track down that the locks are over here. And what we have now is a redesign of the UI, so server groups is all in one place, so you can see what's going. So we give you an experience just where real-time patching is visible and at your control, so you could pause or continue, or if the patching server groups hits an issue, you could see it. So server groups, basically we're doing a re-architecture of the UI to make it really obvious and really easy to troubleshoot, and that's being coded.
The good news is we have now a dev working on it, so.
We always had a dev working on it.
Thank you, David.
Is there any timeline?
2 questions. Yeah, go to the back of the line.
All right, Twitter question.
Soon.
Go.
Okay, so
Soon.
having hopefully ended the is SCCM going away question, we now have a is WSUS going away question. So the question is, but I think maybe the angle is that they want it to go away. I'm not sure. So the question is, when will we see WSUS go away as a backend for software updates? Kind of like what you did with Pixie and eliminating the need for WDS.
Great question. We're thinking about it. We would love to make it happen. We know that there's a lot of pain around maintaining WSUS, and every time I hear another story about CPU spikes on SUFs, it just makes me feel all gross. So we're really trying to solve that problem. We have some ideas. We're actively working and thinking about how to do that. More on that later.
We're trying to decide.
Unless David wants to give more now.
Here's what I'd say. WSUS does 2 things really well. 2 things, and one is it provides metadata for us to scan against. The other is it syncs down content. ConfigMan only uses it first. As we evolve the way Microsoft patches, we're doing a lot of innovation in the cloud that isn't necessarily making it down to WSUS, and we got to for example, our solution that we will have over time for patching drivers won't work through WSUS, which means out of necessity, we need to work around that. That will have a side effect of liberating some of the workloads in ConfigMan off of WSUS, and over time, we'll have to see where that takes us.
Yep.
This is an application deployment question. Often we have applications that when patched, for example, Citrix Receiver, you need something like a reboot for it to re-authenticate and get your apps back. Is there any thought about adding a feature to have an application installation defer until the reboot? So maybe Software Center would come up and say you need to reboot to install an application, and then something would come up over the top of the reboot that says something's installing, don't unplug, etc. If not, why not?
If not, why not?
Well, usually it's something that would ruin a customer's day if we do.
You said why, not why not. So if I understand your question, you would like an app to defer installation until a reboot.
So when the user's not using their machine, it just happens on the next time they reboot it.
Okay.
Okay. It's about scheduling then, more than it is about user experience, in a way.
Yeah, it's something we think about. It hasn't been on our top of mind radar for a while, but what other apps are problematic? Is Citrix, obviously. Are there other apps?
Sometimes drivers, but maybe you guys are going to handle that. Like sometimes we need to push out a NIC driver or a Wi-Fi driver or something, and we don't want to interrupt the network connection.
Right. I think what it comes down to, and I know a bunch of people here on stage are working on what we call deferrals, is understanding that a change we're going to make to the machine is going to be invasive to the user in some way, and putting rules around when you allow that, right? Whether it's a reboot or
idle time,
forcing a patch, right? And so we are rethinking what the knobs are that you need to be able to allow the end user to have a good experience and defer things, but not perpetually. So as we think about that, we'll think about how the apps that we know are going to force a reboot can fit into that. We don't want like a dedicated feature to what you just built, but if we design it into our bigger picture of how to think about end user experiences, then we will.
Yeah, totally fair. I also want to ask one question so that obviously can see a bunch of hands maybe. Is there anybody in here who is not using SCCM integrated with WSUS for software updates, or is using some other solution because SCCM always forces a reboot when you do updates targeting? Anybody in here? One in the corner. Another one in the corner. Okay, only two people. It's a
I
small
think that
number.
backfired a bit, dude.
Good job. You guys just
Hesitant hands.
you just cut a feature and made room for something else.
Sorry, you three. No. I've heard that one before. I wanted to ask. So that's one of the things we've heard before that you might need. Well, we do know that there's a bunch of stuff that we can do there. The downside, of course, to doing something like you described, where you say install on reboot. Also, it's funny that Avi tried to wrestle the mic out of my hand, and I just didn't give it to him.
He said at the beginning he didn't want a mic,
Very
so
well.
we're not giving him a mic.
If we give the end users that much power over when it happens, they could
I
never
understand.
do it.
It's a bit of a special case.
Yes, exactly. So if it's a WannaCry meltdown caliber thing, then you don't want to have to be playing whack-a-mole trying to reboot machines manually, because then that's definitely going to be a bad user experience.
All right. Where's our next question?
Our next question is this gentleman right here.
Hi. Are there any plans to support Azure SQL DB managed instance as far as where I place a DB?
Not short term.
Okay.
The problem is ConfigMan still uses a lot of features that don't exist in Azure and SQL. When we get to a world where those all exist, we'll strongly consider moving it, especially if it's really cheap for us. And right now, to move to it would require major re-architecture in ConfigMan, and I don't yet understand the value that's worth that cost, so not yet.
We're working with the SQL Azure team to see if those gaps can kind of close, but even with SQL managed instances, I have the email in my inbox, and the list is very long of what we need, and they don't have that. So at the moment, there's just too big a gap between where we're at and where they're at. But we do have the dialogue with that team.
Okay, yeah, I kind of figured like Azure SQL wouldn't be appropriate, or kind of wouldn't fit, but maybe managed instance would kind of get a little closer to that. But
it gets us a lot closer.
Yeah.
But there's still a big gap.
Cool. Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Question from Twitter. When will Config Manager support delivery optimization for content?
Go ahead, David.
I want to hear what you say.
That's from Mike Niehaus, by the way. So.
It's CCM content.
You know where we sit, right? You know we're in building 16, and you
I didn't know we were taking Microsoft internal questions on stage. We're working on it. What we have right now is the ability to configure DO scopes and boundaries and map the boundary definitions to ConfigMan. We have the ability to turn it on. Michael, I assume your question's about when can we inject ConfigMan content into it as DO content? And that's something that we're working with the DO team on.
Yeah. So we have a bunch of improvements planned for the future, like setting DO settings in Config Manager, getting their analytics information, like for monitoring. So we have lots of integrations planned with the delivery optimization team. And this is one of them.
All right, next question.
Stay tuned.
Okay, so I know I was the one gating which mic we were using, but I may have lost
Reboot.
I think it's that one. Thank you very much.
This is like despooler, kind of.
Yep. Go ahead.
Yes, now that you have enhanced HTTP, so you don't need certificate for CMG, when will that also apply to client device, so we don't have to deploy device certificate?
Already today. So enhanced HTTP doesn't replace HTTPS completely. If your requirement is to have fully encrypted client communication, you'll still need to have that PKI certificate on the client. What enhanced HTTP solves is the scenario that we had with AAD authentication on CMG and also on-prem, and also some of the token authentication pieces that we added in 1802 and 1806, definitely 1806, but I think also 1802. Those tokens are sensitive pieces of information that we can't pass in good conscience via HTTP because they're in plain text. So we had the requirement for HTTPS communication for CMG starting in 1802. Enhanced HTTP just removes the need for those management point certificates so that we can secure those sensitive tokens when they get transferred between client and MP and MP and CMG and so on and so forth. So it's not there to replace HTTPS completely. If you have that requirement, you still need the certificates, But if it's only you want to have AAD authentication or cloud management gateway, if you're using AAD authentication, there's no need for those client certificates today. If you're using PKI for client communication because you've got Active Directory, it doesn't do that today, but it's interesting as a concept that we could maybe use that to replace HTTPS, but it's not something that we've talked about in terms of roadmap at this stage. Back corner.
Hey guys, so I have a question and I have a user voice, shameless plug that I just submitted.
You should speak to Mr. Niehaus. He's the king of shameless user voice plugs.
So my question is, our packagers want to utilize APPX applications within a task sequence. Are there any plans to make APPX applications available as part of task sequences?
Well, it should work now as an app.
Yeah.
So, okay.
You said that, that's what I was thinking.
Plans are good. You want to plug your user voice?
Yes. So what about within a task sequence?
What do you mean?
You know how there's the install application step? It won't allow us to select the APPX application that we created in the console? Unless that's a bug or...
Yeah, we should support all apps.
Okay.
Think.
Come up and talk to Mark after. He thinks it works.
Okay. It used to show up before we upgraded to 1806, but with 1806, the APPX app doesn't show up anymore.
You didn't use the /enter danger zone switch.
All right. All right, so that's great. Mark, I'll come and talk to you.
Come up and talk to us. We think it works.
So shameless plug. I kind of hammered Mark this morning, but I submitted a user voice for Software Center 1806. We're finding that user applications are taking a long time, probably about a minute before they appear in Software Center when the user clicks launch. And so I was wondering if there are any IIS modifications or anything we can do with the CM user service.
Yeah, you should. I think it's environmental. You should swing by. Ours loads really, really fast. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Probably a support case.
All right. Thanks.
All right. So on co-management, is it possible to pilot different workloads and different collections?
Not yet.
Yeah, I was going to say that when David said that we have resources to work on it, it's definitely on my radar, but it's just not there yet.
It's not on mine.
All right.
I'm just going to let that sink in.
I know it's someday. And if you have this demand, definitely put that in user voice and vote on it so that David can see it.
This is a little bit how our planning meetings go. This is the fourth wall has definitely dropped.
Hi.
Front here.
Anyways, so very quickly, so one of the challenges we have, we're a big organization. We buy companies, sell them off very fast, and GPO is our legacy for settings, and we have Intune coming. It's, it's not there yet. So I know in Intune in 1802 Windows, you could say, Intune, you're the master from a GPO setting. But it'd be great from an SCCM where, like, for example, like, we need to set up a bits, something to make our Windows 10 rollouts, whatever, go. For us to hunt down either the GPO settings or find out somebody did something on the Intune settings, that kind of colliding hurts us. We own the devices. We like SCCM to be the person or the thing or Intune. Like, if there's a way to do a switch to say, SCCM, you take over.
Yes.
Whatever.
So this switch, and I don't know if you've looked into co-management, but this is how co-management works, is you set ownership of workloads between ConfigMan and Intune.
Or you do both.
Yeah.
Today.
So it's a little, first of all, I heard you ask this question in the Windows 10 servicing session.
I asked it 3 times because nobody's giving me the right answer.
Niehaus give you a great answer. We'll give you a slightly, like the same one and elaborate a little bit more. So first of all, one thing that Michael was saying is that where you might see conflicts, and this is, so the co-management comment is totally true because you can move individual workloads over co-management by doing the slider. And if you've slid the slider, for example, security, and you're targeting security settings with SCCM, our client knows to not apply those. Now, if you are doing, if you haven't moved your device configuration workload, for example, and you're doing SCCM configuration item targeting, and you've set some kind of custom registry key that happens to be the same thing that group policy is hitting, then you'll get conflicts. From a native settings design standpoint, in SCCM, our design principle that we follow and attempt to follow on every new setting that we build is that GPO should always win. Between those two,
GPO will always win.
Yeah. Okay, great. That's even more confident. So there it is. And so between those two, there's that. And then there's also the MDM setting that Michael mentioned that can basically make Intune the authority. And you can go and set that if you want Intune to always.
So starting in 1803, Windows 10, MDM policy always wins over GP. So we're really expanding on that. It's not totally consistent yet, but that's the design principle.
We're not there yet. We're in the hybrid. We have 60,000 devices, and you have the AD team. Like everybody's trying to do things, and we're trying to push things out. So, for us to do an RSOP at every single device, or at least, I'm not sure if SCCM could at least tell us why there's a conflict or who's winning the conflict. Yeah, it doesn't work all the time because the machine is on off. It's a big challenge for us because to us they tell us, well, tell SCCM to do it.
Definitely hear you, and we heard similar feedback from other customers too. Thank you.
Down the front here.
Yeah, my question's around reporting and in general, kind of the future direction. I'm seeing some things with obviously the desktop analytics, but kind of any insight into enhancing that, kind of exposing the data out of the. So we use like SSRS today to access, data to some of our application teams use it to track deployments, and it's pretty complicated. And it's the user experience I think has been, we've gotten pretty bad feedback on it, how to use it. And so I'm just wondering, kind of where you see that going. We've also looked at the Power BI dashboard. Expose some of that quick data, so I don't know if there's.
So a couple things, I don't know how many of you heard me lecture about telemetry. ConfigMan uses telemetry to help us make better decisions. We, as of the last 2 releases, are actually starting to collect telemetry on reports, report usage, report times. There's 500 reports in ConfigMan, and I'd say 480 of them probably aren't very useful. And telemetry's showing that. So what we are likely to do is take was that stat right, Mark? I don't know. What we're likely to do is take the 480 and do something with them and double down on the 20 to make them more useful, understand the scenarios that they cover, and do more scenarios. We have an investment in the ability for the community to share objects with each other. We'll probably put a lot of our less useful reports in there and let the community evolve them as they see fit, and then allow the community to author good reports and share with each other. Now that's an SRS statement. The other side of your question is there's lots of data in your company. Some sitting in the SQL database for ConfigMan, some's in analytics, some's in Intune. In order for you to make better decisions and have more visibility, we need to provide a way for you to join that data set together and give you interesting information. We will do that too. Okay. Thanks. I don't know if that's your question.
Yeah. No, that was good. Thanks.
Yeah, telemetry tells us the top 10 reports are not our reports. We don't know what they are, but they're not ours.
No, you didn't want a mic. So, Twitter question, which I'm not letting Avi say.
How does Avi preempt Twitter so often?
He didn't want a mic, and now he wants a mic because he's feeling left out. So everyone feels sorry for Avi because he's made his bed, and we're going to make him lie in it. So Twitter question, when can I get more than 10 votes on user voice? Never.
Yeah, never.
It's deliberate. If we give you unlimited votes, you'll vote for unlimited items. User voice is specifically there so that we can figure out which are the important things to our users. If we give you unlimited votes, that value goes away. If you want something more than the things you've already voted for, you can unvote from what you've already voted for and move your votes. That's the only reason that we limit you to 10. It gives us that value and that ability and insights to see what our customers care about. So, I know it sucks a little bit, but the value we get from it and the value you get back in return by us giving the features you want, we think that that's a fair trade-off.
Or you do something super extraordinary, like bring me a tap customer last minute, like Matthew did, and you get like 20 extra votes. He has a lot of votes if you guys want to bribe him.
And I wanted to call out also that this is actually a kind of a planning discussion point that we often use internally that our director of program management loves to use. It's not exactly 10. He'll say, okay, if we're trying to make a decision between a couple investments, the question is, okay, let's say you have $100. How are you going to break that up, and what are you going to invest in? You don't get more than $100. The whole point is to make you think that there's a finite number of hours that we have in the day to put towards stuff. And
your bonuses are really small.
What? I don't know what you already say.
Pay engineers better.
Moving on. Back.
Yeah. You guys, the custom script or run script action that gets the action right away. You guys use the push method. I was wondering if you guys have plans on doing this for packages and application. The same technology.
Do you want to do your carpool lane analogy? So the question was, we have run scripts that allows us to do real-time actions with scripts. Are we thinking about expanding that out to packages, applications, and so on and so forth? So I guess part of the answer is that you can do that today. The architecture that CM Pivot and run scripts is based on is our fast channel notification. And we have right-click actions available in the console so that if there's a machine or a collection of machines that you want to run policy on now, you can go in and you can say, download policy, and those devices will pick that policy up. So if you've deployed a WannaCry patch through a package program and you want to make sure that that goes now, you can do. The problem with providing real-time actions on everything is that if you make everything capable of running real-time, you start clogging up the communication channels that Config Manager is based on. So we need to be very, very careful about what we enable to be able to run in real time, because otherwise real time stops being real time and it just falls back to you're waiting on schedules for things to
And let me just add to that for apps. If you want to do, if you want to install apps right now, you can do it. Come talk to me after the session.
Okay, and just real quick, another one is when you guys gonna add the option to deploy packages or application, whatever, to object, computing object instead of collection?
What was the question?
When are we going to enable deployments to single machines, not collections?
The same answer about running an app now is applicable for this. We've done a lot of work for this over the last year, so come talk to me. We have a lot of capability right now available in 18.6 and more things coming. You still need collections and you still need deployment concepts because that's containerization and delivering, a payload of a user experience to go along with that application deployment. But it's certainly, there's a lot of new improvements there that we can talk about.
Abby did a blog on that as well. So someone that actually works for a living did a blog on the capabilities that Mark was talking about. So come speak to us. We'll make sure that you've got the right information for that, and we'll tweet a link out as well.
Let me pop to level 500 for a minute. We can make policy go real time. The problem is the policy getting to the client before the content is available doesn't help, because then it just fails and then goes into a fallback loop, right? If you wanted to re-ask your question and say, can we get rid of the 60-minute policy cycle and go as fast as the system will let us to go? Yeah, that's what we aspire to do. What Mark was implying is we see this pattern a lot where customers, either with ConfigMan or with the add-on on top of ConfigMan, micromanage apps on a per device level by creating collections per app, or 3 collections per app, or worst case 6 collections per app is what we've seen, and they get up to 20 to 30,000 collections so that they can micromanage their apps. And we hate that pattern because that kills collection evaluator, that kills policy provider, that slows everything down, right? We understand the scenario to be able to do real-time per device app deployment, and we now have that capability in the product using APIs that Mark's team has built. So you can manage apps, and it will trigger the install right away by using the new APIs. And like I talked about earlier, sometimes we wait till we're done before we evangelize the use of a new feature. And I think we're kind of in the middle here. We're mostly done, and we're still making progress, but it's in the product. And come talk to Mark, and he'll let you be one of the early adopters on trying how that works.
Thank you.
Back corner. Back corner.
Got a why for you. Given
Why not?
Yeah, given Microsoft's move to get more into outside of just Windows for a lot of the stuff they do, I'm curious why we're depreciating the client for Linux.
Who here uses the Linux client? That would be like all the set that we see in telemetry. Maybe twice as much as we see in telemetry. I mean, it's kind of a business investment decision. Part of it also, as a company, positively, we're not backing away from cross-platforms, whether it's Mac or Linux. You probably saw this week we actually announced a Microsoft distro of Linux, right? So we're all in. We think that there's better, given that we built the Linux management client in ConfigMan and its usage was so low, we didn't do something right, or it didn't meet the need. So we're doing a different investment that's from Azure for managing Linux that will provide those capabilities. Okay. So that's why, is that we think there's a better way to do it, and we think the better way of managing Linux isn't ConfigMan.
Oh, that's too bad, because I built and convinced my company that Config Manager was the perfect pane of glass for all of the stuff that's going on in our systems today. And it's lived up to that promise, except for 40% of my servers, which are now going to fall out of scope. So I'm sorry to hear that.
I hear you. You know, we just have to look at customer need and customer usage and decide how to spend our limited capabilities. My team's not Linux experts. The team that actually built the Linux client sits over in Azure, and they looked at telemetry and they looked at our future, where we want to take it, and they have a better plan for how to manage Linux.
Fair enough.
Okay, another one from Twitter. I think Dave might like this one. Are there any plans for Git integration in deployment types of applications in SCCM? Scripts in production should be in version control, and SCCM should support this.
Yes to all that. Mark, anything to add?
Yeah, we're working on it right now.
Watch this space. Front mic again. Can I go back to that last thing?
No.
If you haven't seen, thanks, Rob. Okay, Heidi, you can have your feature now. I'm going to cut Rob's.
Like mine was getting in anyway.
If you know, if you look at, some of you heard me lecture this, a lot of the objects in ConfigMan, really you look at them, what they are is code. Task sequences is a bunch of code. You know, app deployments is a bunch of code. CIs and DSAM is a bunch of code. We have really good tools for source control and version tracking code. It's called code control, source control tools, right? So we're looking at backing everything in ConfigMan by source control tools, whether it's Visual Studio Online or what I think we're calling Azure DevOps now, or Git, right? I kind of joked with Mark that he had an intern working on Git integration, and so on behalf of his intern, we went and bought GitHub. So you know, if you want to dream big, come be an intern at Microsoft. So, and it solves two things. It solves the problem I was talking about before of having high quality reports. Well, the 10 best reports we don't ship, you all have somewhere. And if you can share and author together, you will drive innovation faster than we will by micromanaging what reports we ship. The second one is companies that have multiple ConfigMan hierarchies, whether it's multiple subsidiaries or a test, you know, pre-prod, prod, and being able to use source control for moving objects between those is a much better way than what you do it today. So we're designing what Mark's team's working on with both those scenarios in mind.
Front.
A bug or feature of the Gregorian calendar is that the second Wednesday doesn't necessarily follow the second Tuesday. which makes interdependent scheduling of different services sometimes a bit tricky. You guys actually resolved the issue by adding offset days to the ADRs, but it would be really cool if this would be offered for other schedules as well, like the maintenance windows.
Understood. You would like to schedule everything relative to Patch Tuesday, not just patches.
Well,
I was just kidding. You want schedule flexibility.
Yeah.
What PM owns that these days? Nobody. It's obvi.
Maybe me. I don't know.
Maybe me.
Next gentleman.
My question is regarding to analyzing logs when a test sequence failed, and do you have any plans to improve the current logging analyzing? Like, for instance, as you know, the Windows update teams, they came out with actually a pretty good tool that will give you a more accurate description of what the error means. I know that you came with the OneTrace app, which is or application that works pretty good, better than CMTrace. But are there any plans to create such a tool, like the one for the Windows team updates?
So to summarize the question, any plans to have a log parser that gives meaningful errors rather than the very verbose ones that we have today? Fair summary?
Perfect.
Why are you looking at me?
Maybe you have a plan, because I don't.
I think the answer is no, there's no plan, but it's good feedback.
I need more background and perspective here. Normally, when we look at what ConfigMan is doing with logging and log reading compared to what Windows Update is doing with logging and log reading, we hear that what we do is way better, and Windows Update needs to do it. So this question sounds backwards to me, of when am I going to log the way Windows Update logs and give that tool, and that scares me.
Okay, well, so let me clarify. Normally, when you try to understand what went wrong with a Windows update, the information was really bad. So you're right about that. No, I'm talking about that just recently, they released a tool that when you run that tool, it actually gives you the exact information of what that error code X100, X or blah, blah, blah means. That's what I'm asking. Because oftentimes when a test sequence fails, as you know, I get...
I thought we did pretty good in mapping errors to error code in OneTrace. And if we don't, let us know and we'll improve it.
Well, that's another thing. I could not get the OneTrace because instead of you guys making this available for straight on loud, you have to be running one of the previous versions. I don't remember which one it is in order to get it. I finally got it, but
yeah, OneTrace is now in the product. It's in as part of the product.
I'm running 18, and it's not.
Okay, so then your question is, when can we add it? When you upgrade.
I'm sorry, what?
So the capabilities you're asking for are in the newer version. So if you upgrade to the newer version, then it will be there, right? Because it's a capability that's now in OneTrace, and OneTrace is now in the product.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we have another one from Twitter. So far this week, I haven't heard a compelling case to enable co-management in SCCM. Why should I manage my endpoints with two different technologies? This one is for Heidi.
Oh man, only 6 minutes.
All right. So first of all, I don't know if this person got a chance to go to my session yesterday when we talked about cloud attach, getting value out of the cloud. So it's really not like we're urging you to do anything in the cloud. It's really about if you realize the value that cloud provides to you. Like with co-management, you can get SCCM client health information. And when you have multiple hierarchies, how are you going to do unified reporting? And for co-management, we actually can enable you with those things. And also, like Intune, they can provide compliance policies. And now with co-management, you can really leverage Intune to do compliance policies with conditional access, all that kind of cool stuff that you use. So it's really about if those cloud values that you're interested in, and we do have paths for you to enable that. So
yeah.
You tell me if it's compelling or not.
So let me add the compelling case. Who has lower than 90% patch compliance? This is going to be some peer pressure. Who has between 90 and 95? Who has above 95% patch compliance? Who has 99 or above percent patch compliance? Okay, everyone come talk to this guy in the green shirt.
He has one machine.
So here's who. That would be 100%. Who would like 100% patch compliance? Too bad. Who wants 99.999? So here's how you get it. Enable co-management. Why? Because we have been fixing bugs in client health for a couple decades, and there's one big bug left in client health. Who knows what it is? Don't say WMI. It's the end user. The end user gets in the way of client health more than anything else left. If you want to get your machines patched up to 99%, include the end user in getting patched, right? We can get really close, but if they don't leave their machine on the network, they don't leave it plugged in with power, right, or battery charged, or they see the patch warning and they defer it, or they go into task sequencer and they end task on CCM exec, then you're not going to get 99%. The way to get 99% is go to co-management, just 4 clicks, if you have Active Directory set up correctly. Go into co-management, attach ConfigMan to Intune. Nothing changes about the way you're using ConfigMan. Although everything you're doing with ConfigMan still works. Co-management is a low-risk way for you to try things, and if they work, to move them, and if not, move them back, and you were where you were, and you can tell us why, and we can fix it. But if you turn on conditional access, and you take away people's email until they get patched, your patching will go up to 99%. We see this.
And we do have this kind of rules.
This is
on
not
SCCM
hypothetical.
side. Yep.
We see this in telemetry. We can see when people turn on conditional access, and we see a straight up spike on client health and patch compliance. So there's your compelling reason.
And the gentleman that we were mocking with his one machine.
I wasn't mocking.
I was. I'll hold my hands up. But I gave him a mouse pad, so I think we're even, right? Yeah, we're cool. He says that's exactly what he does today. He uses conditional access as that forcing function. And I talk about choice and giving users choice quite a lot. It doesn't have to be actual choice. It just has to be that they feel like they've got the choice. And that's what forcing them with conditional access is. It's you have the choice. You can either not upgrade, you can not update, or you can not have email. It's one or the other. And you give them that choice, and people will change their actions very, very quickly.
And Mark's team is actually actively working on giving you the rule to assess if your apps are up to date. And if users they didn't update their apps, then it will be conditional access. Like you will be blocked, right? So these are really the things.
Tying app versions to conditional access.
Yeah, app version, update version. So it really evaluates all these things that SCCM knows about.
So we have 2 minutes left before they throw us out. What I'd like to say is I will hang out right outside for until my plane tomorrow to make sure any of you that have questions got them answered. If you wanted to ask a question and you didn't get it answered, come talk to us after. We love answering questions because we learn from you. When you ask questions, we're like, oh, why are they asking that? What scenario are we not doing, and how can we do better? So I implore you, come ask us questions and help us better understand the way you need to run your business so we can make the product better.
And we'll also go through the Twitter questions because I think there's probably a few that didn't get answered. So you can continue to use the hashtag, and we'll go through them. And DJam's very prolific on Twitter. We'll make sure that those questions are answered.
And then I know you hear this all week, eval. So this was a little bit of an experiment. This is a session that we normally don't run at Ignite. We, as a product team, are very passionate about this kind of engagement of Q&A and kind of open transparency. If you thought this was valuable so that we could do this in future Ignites, please go say that in eval. This was a bit of a risk that my boss took letting us do this.
I've enjoyed it. Have you guys enjoyed it?
Yes.
That's
Okay, Avi,
Never,
you can have the
never,
final word.
never.
Hi.
Okay, that's enough. Thanks so much, everybody.
Thank you very much. We'll see you around.
We'll hang out as long as they let us.